I was just driving down the freeway going 100 and the car just died. I can't restart it. Recently, I've been addicted to Facebook Marketplace looking for another absolute bargain. I didn't care what the car was as long as it was cool, useful, and most importantly, cheap. That is when I accidentally clicked on this Toyota Hilux Surf, which was listed for $5,500 and thought, hold up, this is way too cheap. I scrolled through the ad, it seemed like a put together car set up for touring. As I looked into the description, I saw 1KD swap, and that is the moment when I realized that I needed to get my hands on this car. It was a cold summer's morning and it was time for me to pick up my new car. My mate Alex and I set off on our journey at 5:45 AM in my trusty FGX Falcon Daily. We had a 3-hour drive ahead of us, so we decided to make the most of it. The car was located in a small town called Benalla, which is actually where the Winton racetrack is. Once we got there, we picked up and paid for the car, and then it was time to meet up with our good mate Liam, who is actually the previous owner of my AU Falcon drift car. Alrighty, we have just picked up the new car, and we're going to check it out on the hoist first to make sure that it is safe to drive back home. I drove the car about 5 minutes, and it feels alright. It needs a lot of work, and it's going to be a bit of a project, I reckon. Runs good and drives pretty good, and the gearbox feels incredible. There's a few points of failure with these cars that can lead to disaster. While on the hoist, I wanted to make sure that all the ball joints were in good shape before driving 3 hours at 110 kilometers an hour. I also checked over the general condition of the undercarriage, and apart from being dirty and having a couple of small leaks, it all looked pretty good. Olive, what are your thoughts, Bella?
Needs a bit of a clean, but otherwise it should be alright. I mean, underneath doesn't look too bad. There's a Japanese import, they're all rusty, so there's a bit of surface rust here and there.
Nothing too hectic though, so I'm pretty happy about that. Liam, sir, do you want to be on the camera? Come over here, Liam boy. So this is Liam. I bought my white AU Falcon off him, which is now my drift car. Liam built it and he did a good job, and then we became, did alright. Then we became good mates after that. So Liam went and checked out this car for me because he lives 5 minutes away from where it was, and he said that it's pretty clapped, but needs some TLC and it'll be back to not too bad.
With some work, it'll definitely come up alright, I reckon. It's definitely going to be a very capable rig with being twin locked. I reckon it's going to go just about anywhere. It's not too bad. Looks like the engine swap's been done pretty well, and I don't know, Peter needs to do some TLC on it. You're right, I reckon.
What do you think of the injector knock noise?
Oh, they're pretty standard, the N70s, to have it when cold. If you're really concerned, pull them out and test them, because you don't want injectors going, because then you'll probably crack a piston and that won't be fun.
We lowered the car back down and set off on our journey back home, and this is when everything went a bit pear-shaped. Oh god, I was just driving down the freeway going 100 and the car just died and I can't restart it. Well, I can't restart the car at all, so I'm just stuck here now on the side of the road chilling. Not ideal at all. Very situation. The joys of Toyota ownership. I just gave the previous owner a ring to see if there was some sort of switch or something. The car was on the reserve tank and the reserve tank is empty. So I filled up the main tank at the servo and had no idea that there was a switch. Anyway, we've been pumping it now for like 5 minutes. It's still soft. Oh god. Is it hardening up? It's been about 1 hour and still here stranded. GG. At this point in time, Alex and I were both ready to give up. We had the switch flipped to the tank of diesel that was full, and despite attempting to reprime it for 2 hours, the car wasn't starting. We decided that our only hope was to get a jerry of diesel and fill up the sub-tank, just in case it was having a problem switching over to the main tank. And then finally, we got it going!
Toyotas, even
even though I own a Toyota now, this Toyota. For the rest of the journey home, the car performed flawlessly. I was super stoked with my purchase and couldn't wait to dive deeper into this surf. When I saw the ad for this car, the fact that it had a 1KD swapped into it jumped right out at me. The 1KD engine is also a 3-litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine, just like the original engine was in this car, the 1KZ-TE. However, the 1KD actually a common rail diesel, and it makes about 30 kilowatts more than the 1KZ. The 1KD is also factory intercooled, whereas most of the 1KZs came non-intercooled. Let's have a look inside the engine bay. It's a bit cluttered and a bit messy, but does the job. Inside the engine bay, there's quite a lot going on. There's pipes, lines, wires everywhere, and that is something that I'm gonna have to attend to. Make it look a bit cleaner and also simplify it a bit, because right now it looks like an absolute pain to work on. This car was also a factory auto car, utilizing the A343F. However, now it's been converted to R151F, and the transmission feels incredible despite them being not the strongest box. Just for stock power to drive around and go to the bush occasionally, it's perfect. Starting from the front of the car, there's a bit going on. So we have a bull bar. I think it's from a Prado 95 series. They fit these cars as well. It's got some spotties which aren't wired up, and some Chinese brand winch that has a wireless remote, and I've tested it and it worked. Coming around here, I've got some 285 75 16 mud terrain tires. The car came on some 31s, but I very quickly decided that they were too small for the car. Bought these off a friend and chucked them on. Coming around to the side of the car, the previous owner did fit some rock sliders, so the sills and everything aren't bent on this car, and hopefully I will keep them straight. Probably my favorite thing about this car is the way it sounds. It has a 2.5-inch exhaust, which has one muffler, and then after the rear axle it goes into a 3-inch and it goes stoo. Over here it says SSRG, and SSRG is the very top spec Hilux surf that you can buy. I'm questioning whether it's a genuine SSRG because it doesn't have the wood grain interior that they come with from factory. It has this rear vision reverse camera slide down mirror, which is actually handy, and I've used it a few times. Now the last thing I want to mention is the fact that the car is twin lock. It has ARB air lockers in the front and in the back, and that is going to make this car an absolute weapon off-road. Well, there you have it, guys. This was the introduction to one of the new cars on the channel. Buying a used 4-wheel drive like this one that's definitely been put through its paces is always a gamble. So far the car has been absolutely fantastic and I've loved driving it. I'm genuinely super stoked that I'm only $5,250 deep into this vehicle. If I was to go and do all of these mods of that one right there, it would cost way more than $5 grand. The red surf is still being built. It's not going anywhere. I've really enjoyed making this video, and if you enjoyed watching it, please leave us a like, and if you're new, subscribe. Thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, and I reply to all of your comments. I hope you all had an awesome Christmas and Happy New Year. Cheers. We got it going in Toyotas, even though I own a Toyota now.